Hello and welcome back to my channel, Captain Andy D, Virtual Cargo Pilot, and today we're going to be looking at how we make our pre-flight planning and how we program the FMC ready for flight in the PMDG 777 freighter. It'd be also the same, much the same as any PMDG FMC programming. So this pre-flight planning, we're going to use a couple of tools. We're going to use SimBrief for our routing. It's a free tool, and for my textures and scenery I use Rex4 and Orbex Global, and weather engine for Steam I use Active Sky Next, and for P3D V4 I use FSX-WX. You'd also need to download charts for your departing airport and your transitions and your arrival airports, or as like me you can use a subscriber like Navigraph. So first of all, obviously you're going to need a simulator, so I'm going to be using a P3D Prepare 3D for Lockhart Martin. We are then going to be talking about what we use. So we're going to be using SimBrief for the flight plan, and we're going to be using Navigraph Charts for our route and planning. So here we go, we're going to look at first of all how we can plan the flights. So here we go. So we're going to plan the flights. We're going to open up Google or your trusted browser. We're going to go to SimBrief, which is simbrief.com, and you'd have to just register. It's free. Just register with an email, you can log in. So I log in, it'll keep you logged in. I don't know why, so I'm just going to press that. Okay, so first of all we're going to do a fictional flight today, so I'm going to use a fictional flight number just to show you a little bit about SimBrief. Well, SimBrief is this: you have your current arc cycle up here, and it will also, if you donate, like, and it has some ads up here. This is about general information about the authors in here. You register this way, you create your account, so you click on here and create your account if you haven't got one, and the dispatch will show you anything you need, like your downloader, account settings and dispatch. So first of all, if you haven't already got one, if you click onto the FMS downloader and whatever platform you're using, so if you're using Apple or Windows, it doesn't matter if you download it's the same version for 32 or 64, and this goes through how to use the downloader itself. So there we go. I'll show you that in a bit more detail once we do the flight. So if we go to dispatch quickly, we go to dispatch, a dispatch system. Okay, so this is the options. We've got load save flights, my flights, okay, so and my fleet. So you can have a look at the fleet that you can add to your fleet in your account. We'll go through that now. So in my fleet I've got Aerosoft and Eurowings in here, but I can add other airframes. So I have a new airframe, for example. So my new airframe I like to use a lot is the 777 freighter. So just to show you, so there we go, 777, and proceed. Comments, notes and comments. Well, airline, so it's KL, the engine, its actual registration is Delta Alpha. We don't need to worry about that for now. It's a heavy, it's a Lufthansa. Bear with me, Lufthansa cargo. So there we are. It gives us the details about the nav equipment on here, the equipment it has, the big capabilities, maximum passengers. Well, it's a cargo vessel, so the maximum passengers we can actually have is 4 in the back, add 2 in the cabin, that's 6, add 2 pilots, so 8 it can have. Its weight is always in kilograms, so yes. Okay, so there we do, we can save aircraft and it comes into your fleet. So there you go, so you can go back to my fleet. Oh, there it's in there. Anyway, so let's go to do flight. So the airline we're going to be flying for today, and let's pretend we're flying Lufthansa cargo, why not? So their airline code is Golf Echo Charlie, and let's say flight number, we're just making it up, so 1234. We're going to go from Frankfurt and we're going to arrive in Heathrow. It gives an alternate of Manchester. Echo Golf Charlie Charlie is Manchester, so Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot is Frankfurt, Echo Golf Lima Lima is Heathrow, and Echo Golf Charlie Charlie is Manchester. It gives you a good depart time. For me now the time is 3:10, so it's giving me 32 minutes to prepare, which is plenty. You then go to here. Now, I always have the Lido format, but you can have all different formats if you want. BAW is a typical one for British Airways, their format. KLM's got its own format, Qatar's got its own format. Lufthansa Cargo has it, so Etihad has, EasyJet has, so we stick with Lido, and I always have my units in kilograms. Contingency fuel, I always select 30 minutes of contingency, our reserve fuel of an hour, so there we go. So our airframe, we're going to be flying the Boeing 777-200 freighter Foxtrot, which is yeah. Our engines are Golf Echo 90s, 110,000 pounds of thrust, two most powerful twin-engine aircraft. Our cost index is always 100, so that can go in there. Our registration, well, yes, we know our registration. Yes, the Alpha. Cellcode code, I did know it, but I'll have to find out and put that on, but we're not going across the pond, so we don't need to worry about that. Cellcode is selective calling, and what that does is ATC like Shamwick Centre or Gatwick Centre will call you, get you to answer if required. Okay, so from Frankfurt, let it say we will be departed runway 7 right and arriving in Heathrow on 9 left. Taxi out time is 20 minutes. Well, I could take that down because it's not actually 20 minutes. Taxi in time, roughly about the same, 15 each stop. You don't have to touch the altitudes of passengers, so there'll be 2 on board because it's a short flight. Our cargo, let's say we've got 98 kilograms of cargo, it's 98,000 tons of cargo on board. Leave the ZFW, it'll do all the calculations for you. So we make sure our current arc cycle is correct. If not, go to your arc options and sort that out. Route finder then, it's given us an estimated altitude of 24,000 feet to London Heathrow. Okay, I don't like that, so we're going to actually go, well actually no, I want a bit higher than that, so I'm going to put in 32,000 and find route. Now we'll find the route. That's doing that. We'll analyse the route as well. Okay, so it's found the route there. So okay, 30,000. So once all that's correct, you could check the maps. You could even check wind. See what the wind is like by putting up the sock. So we know the wind. You can have see if there's any precipitation in the area. A little bit spotting over Heathrow. There's raining in Frankfurt at the minute, and we're going to be going through some more up towards Brussels and over Amsterdam there, so that's going to be okay. Okay, so it's not too bad. So we're now going to generate what's called an OFP. Now this is an operational flight plan, so if you plan your flight, remember to always flight the plan. Okay, here we go. So at the top of the page it gives you a summary, so it just verifies your airline you're flying for, the flight number, the aircraft type, your call sign, the origin, destination, your alternative cruise level, the date of your flight, the departure time in Zulu or UTC, the air time it's going to take you, and the block fuel time. Block fuel you've got on board, any extra fuel, and your zero fuel weight and your takeoff weight. It'll also give you a route. Now if you're flying a VATSIM, I always take this, copy it, and I paste it sorry about that, just get it off. I paste it into a notepad ready to fill out the VATSIM route when you do your flight plan, your VATSIM. You can actually also pre-file on VATSIM network with SimBrief. Okay, so we have a look at the main operational flight plan. This is the bit I tend to come back. So we've actually got a cost index of 80 today. We're actually flight steps is straight to 22,000 feet. Okay, so our trip fuel is going to be about not very much at all. We're going to be using about 9.7 kilograms and 9,616 kilograms of fuel. Gives us a flight time of an hour and 17 minutes trip time. Contingency fuel's put in, so it's that much added onto that much, and then our alternative will be added onto that and that. That gives us a final reserve of these two of 6455, and our block fuel is here. So you need to make a note of all these because we'll program them into the FMC. So there we go. So here we go. So I'm going to make a quick note, or you can actually download the PDF of this. So, but for ease, I'm going to write down. So we're going to be flight level 220, cost index of 80. So block fuel 25043 and a reserve fuel of 6455. That's all good. And we're going to be leaving off 7 right and arriving 9 left. Gives us a passenger of 2, cargo of 98, and it gives us a 0 fuel weight of 239.6. So these are the bits and pieces you need off the chart. So let's go through that again. So I'll highlight each one so you know. 0 fuel weight, you need to take a note of this. Your cargo. Passengers, it's not really important, but it's good to know. Okay. Your block fuel. Okay. You need to make a note of obviously the runway you are taking off from and the runway you are heading to. You need to make a note of the SID you are departing on. So we are departing on the Obo-K Alpha 1 Delta departure, and we're going to be arriving on the Logan 1 Hotel. Okay, so you make a note of them too. So your SID, which is standard instrument departure, and your STAR, which is standard transition arrival route. And you've got your alternative here. So if you need to go to Manchester, you could take the STAR Ulti Bravo 1 Kilo and eventually go to the Dane 2 Alpha. So flight level 1800, and how long it's going to take you from these tracks here. So it depends where you are on your flight routes. We'll show you that in another video. Your block fuel, take a note. Obviously, like I said, your final reserve fuel, take a note, and your trip time and your takeoff time. And that's really what you need to make a note of, and obviously your flight number and aircraft puts. Okay, so once you've done all that and you're happy with your OFP, come SimBrief download is available now. If you've already got it, don't worry. So if you downloaded, it's fine. So you can download it in any of these formats. We're going to be downloading it obviously in the PMDG flight plan format. So we're going to press download, and what will happen now is SimBrief downloader that we've already downloaded will open over top. Voila. This is what I was talking about, SimBrief downloader. Now that's done it. Obviously you've added directories already for your planes where they are stored. It gives you prompts. It's quite easy. So I have a 777 for Steam. I have an NGX and a 777 in prepared. We're going to be showing you on the prepared models. So we go there to route. Yes, please, I want it to go to that plane's flight plan. We're just checking the route here. eDrive, my simulator, PMDG file, flight plans, and this is my company route. What's known as the company route on the FMC, which we'll go through once we've done this. And we press close. Close SimBrief. Now SimBrief will stay loaded as per instructed. So all you need to do is go to this, right click and press exit. And that is all you need to do for your preparation of flight planning. Okay, so we talked about using Navigraph Charts. Now let me just show you how easy this is. So say if you haven't got a subscription, okay, I want to see EDDF charts, and you get jet view. Press jet view, just for example, if you haven't got no money to subscribe, but it's £9 a month. I really recommend a Navigraph. Keeps your ARCs up to date and your your FMCs up to date. There you go, all the charts. Okay, but you've only got the October 17 chart, so some of this might be different. So you scroll down, okay, it gives you your arrivals first, your stars, transitions, yes, CM axis. Okay, so this is all good. Okay, so that's the one way, and then all you have to do is say, if you don't subscribe, say okay, this chart's what I want, click this button here, you can download them, save them wherever you want. Happy days. Okay, so where am I going to? I'm going to London. Okay, can we look at London charts to say it? Yes. Okay, and we just go to London, and same again, we've got the London Heathrow charts. We can actually rotate counterclockwise. Okay, and then okay, we can download them the same. But for me, I subscribe to Navigraph, so I'm going to open up Navigraph Charts. I'm going to show you something cool as well when we start to load up the flight, but this has moving maps on it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to search Frankfurt. It's an airport I travel from the most. So, and of course, we're going to look at taxiing. I'm going to look at the airport chart first. Now, a cargo terminal for Frankfurt is here. This is Lufthansa cargo terminal. November 11, 13, 14 is your slipways on. Here, just before Lima, in this section here is stands Victor through down. So if we look at the taxi chart, okay, in this section here is the Lima taxiway, and just before that you've got your stands that I want to show you where parking stands are for cargo. We go to the Lufthansa cargo section, zoom in. So we're going to be standing on stand V170, and then we're going to take a left turn onto Lima. Sorry, we're taking off, I do apologise, for 7 right. So we're going to take a right turn onto Lima, all the way down to Lima, down Yankee, and we're actually going to go to Yankee 1, and across down onto Mike 29, and we'll probably hold short on Yankee 10 for permission before we go on and load the aircraft. But for today's purpose, everything will be done at this stand for FMC programming and instruction. Okie dokie, so once you've got your flight plan, you're happy, have a look at your SID. So as we said, we're taking off on the Okbadada 1 Delta, which is here, and we're taking off here from runway 9 right, and we're coming out and swinging a slight left at 22 degrees up to Metro VOR, then we're taking a left at 287 degrees to our stations Odegar, same up to Kossom, 251 degree right to Gubax, slight left at slight right at 293 up to Raviki, another right at 335 degrees up to Ditam, and 325 degrees at and above 5000 up to Opaga. And we also looking here for our restrictions, climb a runway track, intercept. Okay, there's no restrictions actually on that chart, so we look at speed restrictions. Maximum 215 knots below 10,000, so just make sure we adhere to the normal standards of aviation. You can also look at your reference page for radar minimum, so it shows you if you're coming out of here what sort of altitude you want to be at, so always check them, and that's it. So we're going to check where we're going to be arriving to, so Heathrow. We're going to arrive Heathrow, and we're going to, it's asking us to go on 7 Lima, and it's asking us, sorry, my apologies, it's asking us to go on 9 Lima through Logan. So we look at the star, which is Logan 1 Alpha Hotel, so we're coming across to here to Lambourne, okay, and it tells us all where we want to be at what altitudes. So it says pilots should plan for descent possible by flight level 250 by Logan, that's why we're at flight level 220 anyway, and then 160 by Sabre, and Sabre is here. So from here, from 2220 we're going to be down to 160, and then at Lambourne we want to be about 7,000 feet. Okay, so we look at our approaches into 9 left. So 9 left ILS, and we look at the ILS there, it's 2,500 glider scope, so we're coming from this direction. So numbers, so we're going to look at our what's called our approaches. So we have initial approaches Initial approach from Biggin. This is from Bovingdon, Lambourne. So this is our approach into 9 left here. So we're going to come down and we're going to take this approach via Lambourne. Okay. And then we're going to take to these altitudes here. So 6,000, that's above 3,500, that's below 3,000, 2,500. So once we reach this point, we'll just put 2,500 in and come through for the glide slope. And it also tells us there about the intercept. So that'll be the route we follow. So from, let me just show you now our flight planning. So everything's good. So we're coming from Logan down to Lambourne VOR, and we know at this we're going to be at 7,000 feet. So we're going to then go back to our Lambourne chart. So now we're at 7,000 feet there. We're going to program, once we leave the Lambourne VOR, we're going to say, right, I want to be at 6,000 for D34 LAM. And then from there, I'm going to reset my MCP altitude to 3,500 feet for GWC. And then once I leave there, I'm going to set it for 2,500 because I could be at and below 3,000 at D10. And from there, we're going to then obviously go into the approach of 9 left. And going to hit D75 glide slope at 3-degree angle. And we're going to be roughly traveling around 140 to 50, so in between about 750 to 800 feet per minute if we lose the ILS. ILS frequency you need to take note of, and the course. Minimum decision heights also, so you refer to minimums for Cat 2 or Cat 3. It gives you a decision height of 50 or 100, so just keep it 100 on the Barrow. So that is the flight planning. Now if you've got Navigraph, you can also import your flight. So I'm just going to delete these two to show you how it's done. Yes, so I want to import a new flight please from SimBrief, and this is the one I've just used. Now it shows me the whole route like so, and once I start the route I can put the approaches on. So I want 9 left and we're going to use the Lambert, and it already puts it onto the approach for me. Yeah, so 9 approach to Lambert, and we're going to add to the route, and it does. Added it to the route there. It's done that quite nicely, and that's the route we're going to be taking today. And we're going to, once we start our flight and the sim, we can enable this and it will show us our flight progress along the moving map. So it's a really good tool to have, Navigraph Charts. I'm just going to close that for now. Okay, so we've used Navigraph Charts, we've used our SimBrief. Okay, now we are going to use, I've told you about our weather engines we can use. I use FXWX for Prepared, which is free, easy to use, and for Steam, because I got it down off Steam, for FSX Steam I use Active Sky Next. For my textures I use Rex 4 in P3D, and in FSX I use Rex Texture Direct, so it's much the same thing. All my scenery is used FTX Global, so FTX Century, so Orbex. Okay, and my FMCs are put up with the Navigraph FMS Data Manager that you get from the provider when you sign. So that is all correct. I also use vPilot if I'm flying VATSIM to see if we've got any VATSIM on the area where we're flying to. I use VATSpy. And I also keep in touch on Discord, and also my virtual airline tracker is SmartCard for Virtual Cargo International. So that's what I use I'll send you links down for your flight plans, your scenery, your charts, and your weather. I'll leave links at the bottom of this video, and please like and subscribe. So here we go, we're going to go ahead now and set up an FMC. So let's run Prepare 3D, show you how we do that. Okay, I'm just waiting for Prepare 3D to finish uploading. Obviously our Rex textures loading, we've got our Orbex sceneries loading, we've got our add-on sceneries loading, our add-on aircraft, so it'll just take a little bit to load up there. And SimLink will already be trying to make an established connection, which it has. So there we are. Our in-game flights that come up. I don't know how to stop that. If you do, please let me know. So in the aircraft start, we're going to go ahead and select the Boeing 777. Doesn't matter which one I select, but because I've said we're going to fly Lufthansa cargo, I always match the flight number, but it's not important. Location, then we're at Frankfurt, so and we're going to be at gate Victor 170. Okay, you can pick any of these Victor gates. Victor 170 I like I know I use it all the time. So press OK, reset, and press OK to fly. This will then load up the aircraft and the airport, which is what it's doing now. So I'm pretty new to YouTubing, so if there's pauses in my video, I do apologise. I'm going to try and get better at them the more I do, and better video editing software I have and computer I get in the future, I'll make them pretty good and realistic. I'm also going to do a flight using Prepare and a flight using Steam. I'm also going to look at downloading and demonstrating X-Plane, as I'm interested in X-Plane and what it has to offer. So I'm going to look at the demo and see if my system's good enough for X-Plane. So I'm going to be looking into that in future videos. So just a summary then, we're using SimBrief, we're using Orbex Direct, we're using Navigraph, and we're using Hi-Fi SimTech. We're using Rex for textures. I'm using PMDG, and of course Lockheed Martin's Prepare 3D version 4 simulator. It's just going to kick in. Now I've put a startup status minus pre-flight. I've done a cold and dark tutorial, but pre-flight normally you'd always come to, in real life you'll come to a 777 and it'll always have power on it because it takes such a long time to power up the aircraft. So just to let you know. Okay, so we're going to go to the aircraft. I'm going to show you a quick look around first. Okay, here we are. So we've got a bit of power on so you can hear the aircon going. I'm going to hide the menu bar. Let's step out of the aircraft a minute, so our doors are open. There we are. Truck coming on stand V170. Basic Frankfurt, so I haven't got all the fancy airports. We're receiving cargo inside, so these are the FMCs. Okay, so we've got the overhead panel. We've got our MCP, which is the main control panel. We've got our display panel area, so this is our PFD, which is primary flight display, NFD, navigational flight display, ECAS, so it's just the engine crew alert system screen, and our lower display unit and our FMCs. So okay, so we look first of all FS actions, and we need to put fuel onto the aircraft, so we need to request our fuel. So if you remember, our block fuel was 25, so 25,000 there, and our payload was do apologise, noisy bike going past. Our payload today was 239.6. Put that into Z fuel weight, gives us our realistic cargo, and that's all you have to do at the minute onto there. We're then going to start what's called the FMC program. So this is what this tutorial is really about, so I don't need to go on about setting up. So the FMC comes in a menu page, which is this one. You have your setup, so you can set up the aircraft how you like, which displays you want. Your actions, so what I've just showed you on the other one, so your fuel, your payload, your doors, if you need to push back the ground connections, ground operations and maintenance, so you can cool brakes, refill reservoirs, tyres changes, your cabin lights, so I have them in auto or you can have them in manual, depending on your preference, and auto cruise, so auto step climbs I've put no, auto tire pressures no, I suggest you do the same. So we're going to look at the FMC. So this is the ident page. This tells us about the FMC, which is the flight management computer. This tells us the model of aircraft, so 777-200.4, so it's a freighter. These are our engines, General Electric 90s, which are 110,000 pounds of thrust, which makes it one of the most fuel effective and powerful twin engine aircraft in the world. Our nav data arc, so we're in date, we're on air arc 1908, so from July to August. And that tells us that we're good to go for what's called a position initialization. Click on this. It gives us a last position. It gives us our GPS position. So what airport we're in. So you could use a scratch pad if you want. 2 seconds. My mistakes. We could use Frankfurt into there and place it to there. We could also use our gate. It's not a gate, it's a stand, so that's it. And if you notice now, our GPS position, which is this one, is point off our stand, so we're going to use that because that's more accurate than the FMC stand information. Then we go to our route, so our origin. So I like to use the buttons Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot for Frankfurt, and we go to destination of Heathrow, which is Echo Golf Lima Lima. Leave runway and flight number, because when you put the company route in, it will delete them. So I'm going to show you. So we're supposed to be going from 7 right. I'm going to put that in there, but now I'm going to put my flight number in, and we said 1234. But once, as soon as I put my company route in, so it's Frankfurt, Echo Delta Foxtrot Foxtrot, so Echo Golf Lima Lima. As soon as I put that in, it's not in database. 2 seconds. See, it's good to double check. Delta Delta Foxtrot Echo Golf Lima Lima. I put a company route in, and it's not going to off. So always do them after. We just have to redo it. So we'll go for 7 right, and our flight number is Golf Echo Charlie, which is Lufthansa Cargo. If it was normal Lufthansa passenger, it would be DLH. So Lufthansa Cargo, and it is flight number, it's 1234 because we're not going anywhere. Okay, so we're departing from Frankfurt, and remember our SID, so our standard instrument departure, was Oboke 1 Delta. So we're just going to find that on our SID list, and there it is. Give us the possible runways. 7 Charlie, but we're going to go for 7 right, so thank you very much. Press departure and arrival again. We're going to arrivals. I always like to do this here rather than, you could do it in cruise if you want. And you want to go to Lambourne, so it's 1 hotel, or Logan 1 hotel. There it is. And we go to ILS 9 left, which is there. And trans. So we're not good. Next page if there is one. And we're going to trans Lam. And now we can get a route. Check everything's correct, activate, and press OK. Performance initialization now. So next page. This is our gross weight, the fuel calculation, our 0 fuel weight. This is the weight before cargo passengers. Our reserves that we're going to need, cruise at altitude, a cost index, and the temperature is already pointing for us. Now, we know the 0 fuel weight, so we can put that in ourselves, or clever with PMDG, double click, and it gives us our 0 fuel weight and our gross weight. Reserves, excuse me, 6455, so 6.5 rounded up. Cruising altitude is 22,000 feet, so 220. Flight level 220. Cost index of 80. SimBrief gathers, so that's been put in. We then could go to our thrust limitation and derate 10%. Is a 95.1%. And then we could select, maybe get that down a little bit lower by putting a trick in it and putting in a higher temperature than what's on the ground. So flaps then, our takeoff reference page. So we're going to be flaps 15 in the 777 freighter. Very rare you're not going to take off a flaps 15. Center of gravity. Well, if you double click that, it won't give you a VR speed yet because we've got no initialization. So just showing you that. So we'll just wait a minute. Our time to alignment is 30 seconds. And normally you'll be checking other parts of your cockpit preparation. We can check we're going to have enough fuel. Yes, we are. Check the legs, make sure there's no discontinuity in the legs. Say when it's Sabre, it's correct, flight level 160. We're checking here that this is correct. Okay, so we're going to change that one to 3,500. Everything else is fine, so execute that. So we go back a page, and we could change that one to 6,000 or below, so we don't have to stress too much. Place that in there and execute. We then go to our last page and we'll see the runway there. If you click on the runway, go to your fix page, press it in fix, and then we want a distance of a 5 mile. This puts a distance of 4 mile ring to the airport and a distance of 15, and this helps you on final approach slow down the aircraft. I'll just let you know that. So VNAV, our trans altitude is correct. Okay, we'll go to the next page. Cruise speed is good. What we do is we check if the recommended is what we've put in also. Add our descent path, we'll check that in the air, but I like to descend at 280 KAS. Okay, so that's good. Leave our progress. Now if you bring up the other pilot's FMC, so the captain's FMC, now we've got our initialization. We can put our V speeds in, so V1 is our speed that we can safely abort the takeoff for if anything like fires or safety or anything detrimental to the flight happens. Rotate, so this is what we rotate at, so 150, and V2 is our safety climb speed of 155. Normally you add 10, anywhere from 10 to 30 KAS on top of this for a safe climb speed, and then you're down to that into the FMC. So looks 165 be a safe climb speed. That is the FMC programmed up, and we could prove this because we could have a look now on our display. We'll go to plan, give it a bit of an arc, and we're going to step 2. So this is the SID out of here. This is the route we're taking, and this is the route into London. That's our descent point there to Heathrow. Sabre, so we're going to be at 16,000, remember there, so we're double checking. And if you remember what Navigraph Charts looked like, yes, that looks like the LAM approach there. And we can zoom in again so we can have a look. So we're looking at the 15-degree arc there, so we could go back up a little bit. We look where the 15 arc starts. So realistically then, as we're coming down around here, I am going to start what's called deselling the aircraft around LAM 30 for our final approach in, and when I turn this corner we're going to be arming the approach and go into our final reference speed, which are V approach speeds, which you'll find in the index on approach, and you'll find them here. Always add 5 knots on for that. So that is the FMC all programmed as set up. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have, please subscribe and like, and leave a comment in the section below. And if you've got any videos you want me to do, especially on the 777, please feel free to ask, like Rhiannon did, and this video is for her. I will now be conducting a full flight of startup, pre-flight checklists and ATC on my next video. So I'd like to thank you again from Captain Andy D and Virtual Cargo Airline pilots, and I wish you a good day. Bye bye.